Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink, I have in sample form, Noodler's Burgundy. Let's see if I can... It's a deep, rich maroon kind of color. It's a burgundy, but it's pushing a little more towards purple than I had anticipated. All the tests were done in this JinHao X450, which admittedly is a bit on the broad side and a bit on the wet side, so there will be trouble. Check out the chromatography. As you can see, a bit of this light pink remains, and then it goes up into sort of what I would consider to be a maroon, and then up into a dark purple, almost a burgundy. But let's check out the paper tests. Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. Now this definitely looks like a very dark wine. 21 seconds to dry. Now I did say that the pen is a bit wet and flow is also slightly wet, so I guess the dry times make sense. And then I said there were freak spots of bleed. But yeah, the trouble begins. And as you can see, it dyed the paper a bit. It exploded and got feathery, which on Clairefontaine is quite unusual. And it did bleed through in spots. I thought it was a freak occurrence, but it's the beginning of a trend. Now, admittedly, I lost my patience with this ink quite quickly, so yes, here's Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. It's a beautiful dark color. It took 28 seconds to dry. And I had this problem where all the dots just would not dry, and so I got really frustrated and started going like this and smearing them because I got sick of waiting before I could turn the page over. Because they just would not dry. I was sitting for like 2 or 3 minutes after I'd finished everything, and it still wouldn't dry, so I got impatient and started flicking them. But, I mean, otherwise it's a pretty beautiful color. I don't think it's worth the dry times. Dyed the paper, feathery, explodey, it bled. I am not loving this ink at the moment. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where, again, it took forever to dry. And it smears even after it is dry. I bet I can make it smear even now. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't mix well. I mean, it's a beautiful color, but yeah, I just got really fed up and went like this with my hand. I was not enjoying this ink. Here it just turned straight pink, but that's about as dark and consistent as we're going to get with this. But even still, look at that. We're getting bleed through on Tomoe River. Next is the newer 20-pound copier paper, where it essentially just turned into like a purple. This just looks like a purplish color to me, not really so much a burgundy. And there was bleed and feather and spread, and I thought it was very ugly. And look at what happened with this water test. That's pretty damn explosive. I mean, that'd be hard to read. And it bled through all over the place. And granted, yes, I did say that it was a slightly wet, broadish nib, and that I think this ink might be slightly wet in itself, so yeah. Next is Mead Notebook Paper, where it definitely starts to look like a purplish color. I mean, this is just sort of a lightish purple. And, I mean, look at that feathering. It's hideous. And look at that water test. I mean, when I put the drop here, there was nothing to mop up because it had completely soaked into the paper. I just don't think that this ink would play well with this paper, regardless of the pen or the nib. Here's Moleskine Notebook Paper, where again, it just exploded. I mean, look at those feathers, and it's spread too. I mean, yes, I said this was a broadish medium, but this is a pretty broad line, and 7 seconds, that's pretty epic for ink that, for all apparent showing absorbed into the paper quite a bit. And look at that. That water test is hideous. And that's insane. So there you go. Noodler's Burgundy. I'm not its biggest fan. I did not have the best experience with it. But again, this is just a sample. And I was just acquainting myself with it. Maybe it would perform better under different circumstances. If you've had better experiences with this ink, please let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.